Ha ha! You fell for my trap, didn't you? You thought I was going to badmouth Rise of the TMNT and bash it to the high heavens. Nope. Wait, wrong voice.
Nope. I'm here to explain why I enjoy Rise as a series, and why everyone who bashes this show doesn't deserve anything nice from the entertainment industry. I'm Mr. J, and I freaking love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Where to begin? Well, quite frankly, what the series is about. And no, I'm not going into a detailed history. I'm trying to keep these videos on average around 10 to 20 minutes. Going deep into the history of the TMNT would probably make this video 2 hours, and I don't know how to manage a video length of that magnitude yet. With that taken care of, let's go over a brief history lesson.
The original iteration of TMNT was brought about by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. The two comic book authors met in Massachusetts and decided to work together in Laird's place in New Hampshire. From what sources tell me, Eastman drew a turtle on hind legs with a mask and nunchucks, and Laird found a good laugh from it, then refining Eastman's initial creation. The idea was conceptualized from parodying superhero elements that the duo had witnessed in the current climate of comics. Once they've ironed out the details, pulled together enough money, and founded Mirage Studios in 1984, the rest is set in stone.
That, and when I have the focus and mental aptitude, then I will make a full-fledged video about the history of this franchise. To keep things clean, and to center my focus, I will be going over 3 questions. What is Rise about, and how does it differ from the other series? What drew me into Rise? And, of course, why do people who bash this series deserve nothing nice from the entertainment industry? Fair warning, everyone, I'm going into spoiler territory. You have been warned. Oh, and everything in the video is under the terms of fair use and all that other YouTube gobbledygook. Okay, starting with the simplest part of question 1. What is Rise of the TMNT about? Well, the story of Rise walks off the beaten path. In this version, the Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael, haven't been given formal training, and aren't a cohesive team yet. Their new antagonist is Baron Draxum, a yokai from the Hidden City, and a warring warrior scientist bent on mutating New York and humanity into, well, mutants, for purposes explained further on in the series. Oh, and Shredder is a force of pure malice, bent on destroying the world. I may be forgetting a few things about the series, so cut me some slack. Though that's probably not why some individuals are up in arms about Rise. I have a short list of what I'm under the impression are changes that I've seen people get angry over, and explain why those individuals are full of it. The Turtles' designs and their weapons have been altered. April is black, Stockman is a kid, and Splinter is a stout, grungy, gray rat. As someone who has watched the entirety of Rise, I can confidently say these are strawman arguments. Because, going down the list, the Turtles are now distinct, and the added element of mysticism gives a new layer to the series. April is still a considerate friend, a strong ally, and supportive honorary family. Stockman, as my brother had said it best, he truly became who he was at his core, a spoiled, egotistical, and arrogant genius. And Splinter? Well, I'd be depressed too if my family expected me to sacrifice everything and everyone without caring about the mental and emotional repercussions. I got experimented on, escaped within an inch of my life, and I had nothing to my name? I learned a lot about Rise just by, sitting down and actually observing it. Now, why are these people full of it? Because some individuals want to get pissy over arbitrary things in a children's cartoon. That's why. What drew me into Rise? Most notably, I was drawn in by the art style and animation. A close second was the story, And lastly, its world. Right off the bat, I love the art style of Scott Campbell, Stefan Silver, and Gendy Tartakovsky. I love geometry and cartoonishly altered proportions. And from what my sources tell me, Andy Suriano and Ant Ward gave us these beautiful designs. Now tell me, how is this bad art and character design? As from what I've learned from my friends and brother, bad character design is when the models aren't distinct and varied enough to distinguish one character from another. The Turtles' new designs are a positive step forward. Leo is the charismatic face with something to hide. Raph is the big, imposing older brother. Donnie is the frail and lanky genius. And Mikey is the adorable younger brother. And going further down the respective list is a red-eared slider, an alligator snapping turtle, a spiny softshell turtle, and an ornate box turtle. And the animation is just beautiful. It's so smooth, energetic, and fluid. It feels like drinking a crisp, refreshing glass of water. And it needs saying again, animation is the practice of taking still figures and making them appear to be moving images. Animation, from my brief look into it, is done in 1s, 2s, and 3s. Say there are 24 frames per second. 1-to-1 is 24 new frames a second. 2 is 12, and 3 is 8. The animation in Rise, as far as my untrained eye can see, is mostly 1-to-1 on every action sequence, and goes from 2 to 3 in slower scenes. The animators knew when to shift gears and make everything feel lively and energetic with crisp quality. The distinct art style, mixed with the fluid visuals, just gives off this air of high-octane action. It's got this good mix of sharp but cartoonish movement to it that makes me want more. And some food for thought, they had over 200 people in the animation department, 26 in the visuals department, and 38 in the art department. So overall, over 250 people across all 3 departments brought New York, the Hidden City, and the Turtles to life. I can't express how I feel about the animation and art style any better, except for one word. Nice. The story of Rise is something that kept me heavily invested. It's a story about the Turtles rising to the level of skill and maturity throughout their journey to become great ninjutsu masters to save New York from the Shredder. Is the story of Rise perfect? No. Good writing is subjective across the views of everyone. My best guess is that the team behind Rise had less time, leg room, and proper freedom to fully tell the story they wanted to present. Unlike every other series preceding it, with over 100 episodes each, Rise only had 39 total episodes. I mean, if we were in the 2010s, the series would have had 5 more seasons to flesh out the story. Unfortunately, we aren't in the 2010s anymore. We're in the day and age where if things don't meet a person's unrealistic expectations with instant gratification, it gets thrown to the curb without a second chance. By that logic, the team only had 70 11-minute segments to get the story they wanted to tell across, while also wasting no time fleshing out the world as best they could. When they needed to wind down and slowly chip away at the bigger picture, they did so. When they needed to come in swinging, they hit it out of the park every time. So here's where it comes full circle. The team of Rise wanted to tell a story about the Turtles having to metaphorically and literally grow into the heroes they wanted to be. A story like that takes time, and they weren't afforded that luxury. Yes, it's rough, it's hectic, and it's got its flaws, just like every other series. It's the presentation of Rise's best episodes that truly swayed my heart. They didn't have 5 seasons to build up to the reveal, ensuing battle, and final fight against the Shredder. The team only had 1.5 seasons to condense everything from story, world building, and character development all into a few key episodes. And I personally believe they used their time effectively to make those few key moments really impactful. And to everyone that returned to work on the movie, how dare you make me feel emotions? So, now we're on world building. Now, I'm gonna keep this short because I don't have extensive knowledge pertaining to the realm of mythical and mystical. The one thing I do know is that yokai, or strange apparitions in English, are supernatural entities and spirits that are commonly found in Japanese folklore. The difference in Rise is the yokai here have mutant origins opposing their Japanese counterparts. More specifically, they were mutated many years ago by a mutagen brought to Earth, brought by none other than Krang. Wait, no, not that Krang, this Krang. No, not this Krang, the other Krang. No, not the other Krang. The other Krang. Oh, there are so many Krangs. Yeah, Rise ties the Krang into the story in a subtle but major way. And just between you and me, I find it cool when a separate but entire world in a series is brought about by the actions of another by complete accident. Major kudos to the writing staff, because holy moly, that's a bomb drop and a cool foreshadowing moment rolled into one. I also loved how mysticism and magic were weaved into the frame of the world. Throughout each iteration, I believe only 2003's Turtles did something like that, if I recall correctly. Here, though, it's something encoded into Rise's DNA. From the hidden city to the Turtles' weapons, any manner of mystical happenings just ooze out of the crevices. Mystic powers and its practices are widely used in the hidden city, while the practice of science and alchemy are shunned and frowned upon. Also, before making this video, and after watching the entirety of Rise, I had no idea that the farm tools used in Japan were the basis for ninja weapons later down the line. I learned something new today, so thank you to whomever on the team of Rise threw in that neat history fact. You made my day. That's all I have to say about world building for Rise. I'm still learning, so pardon me if I got anything wrong. What I can say for certain is I feel the world building done in Rise is solid, and the crew did a nice job constructing everything in it. This now brings us to the final question. Why do people who bash Rise deserve nothing nice from the entertainment industry? Now, I have a lot I want to say and half a mind to take shots at people on this platform, but I'm not here to do that. I'm here to provide my subjective opinions. So, to answer my question, I'll answer it with another question. Why should people who won't risk their time, resources, and effort deserve anything better? The answer is they don't. In my search for the relevant information, I've had to sift through the knee-jerk reactions, the poorly rationalized arguments, and the shallow vitriol of the internet. This is what I've witnessed over the past few years. You yearn for something new, but something that doesn't nudge you out of your comfort zone. You want a fresh story, but one that doesn't alter the existing formula to add something new to the pool of ideas to work with in the future. You ask for a different take on a pre-existing set of characters, but you don't want to watch a new facet of them that adds to the overall development of their character. You want character development, but you expect it to happen in an unrealistically short period of time. You tell me you want these things to change. Then, when these changes are made, your actions do not dictate that of an adult, but a spoiled little child. Without going completely out of scope, that's what I honed in on. We're in the era where everything is being condensed into a cheap and easy thing to make and has to quickly move along the track in order to succeed. Any and every production team in the industry most likely has to deal with a set of gradually tightening restrictions placed upon them just to make a dream or idea come to life. The gap between the time and resources needed to make the average series is growing steeper. We're in a time period where corporations don't realize that animation isn't a product. It's a work of art made by several individuals trying to tell a story. And to top it all off, the countless people in the industry have to put up with the peanut gallery when the choices they have to make are most likely under contractual obligation. The point I'm trying to make here, by tying the last few paragraphs together, is it's easy for someone with no knowledge, experience, and a pseudo-intellectual mindset to spew hateful and spiteful things they know nothing about. Speaking truthfully, everything I've learned, I've been drip-fed because I'm not used to the world that I want to enter. Something my dad taught me is when you learn a little bit of everything about the world, you get a better understanding of how the system works. With this wisdom in mind, I came to a realization. Working in the entertainment industry is tough. Everyone from all facets of the industry have to work together to make the magic happen, and not many people are willing to realize they have their own compromises and sacrifices they have to make for an 11 to 22 minute episode to exist. At the end of the day, I know that my words aren't going to change the minds of every armchair essayist and simple-minded critic. Then you may be asking yourself, why did I make this video? Well, from what I know, every few years or so, a popular series gets rebooted or has a new iteration added under its belt. I say with confidence that in 6 to 10 years, when another TMNT series has come and gone, the same people will rear their ugly heads to complain. Whether I love it, I dislike it, or I ultimately don't care for it, I'll have some form of criticism. And in that time, the undesirable people who cannot be pleased are going to go, like, oh my gosh, this new TMNT series is garbage. Why didn't they make a good one a few years back? And you know what my answer to that will be? Silly commentary community. They already tried doing that back in 2018. But you couldn't be happy with what you had in front of you. So, somewhere around 2029 and 2033 is when I'll crack open the book on Rise again, and the new series once it's run its course. In that time, I'll have grown as a content creator, and in the future, I'll be watching the commentary community get into a fuss over TMNT and cackle like a mental patient at the ensuing trivial drama. And with the video coming to a close, I have this to say. To everyone who found enjoyment or a fond respect watching Rise, I wish all of you a peaceful rest of the year. And to those of you who are still bashing Rise, my wish is that you start acting like responsible human beings. But considering the current state of the world, I'm asking for the impossible. I'm Mr. J, telling you to have a day.